I don't know if you can see my disco ball reflections, but I'm so happy with it. Hi, welcome back. My name's Amy if we've never met before, and today we are doing a September's favourites video. It literally feels like a week ago when I did August's favourites, and I will have that linked. Apparently it's been a month, so here we are doing September's, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of my September's favourites could have been the same as my August because they're all still amazing, but I did try really hard to pick some other plants that I've been really enjoying this month. So I've got 7 plants to share with you today. I haven't got any like plant accessories because I mean they're definitely all still the same as the August ones. If you've not watched the August one, please go and watch that one to find out what my favourites were then. Let's just crack on with the plants, shall we? I'm gonna get this first one out of the way because this one was in my August favourites video, and that is my Anthurium warocqueanum. I will put a little clip up of what it looked like in the August favourites because what a month can do. But look at the new leaf. It's doing so well. I cannot wait. I'm literally 10 times a day, probably more. I'm checking on this plant. I am spraying. This is the new leaf that was coming out in August. It is nearly hardened off. It's still got a little bit of flop there, and it is just stunning. I'm in love. I'm in love with this plant. I've wanted a warocqueanum like this for years. Absolutely years. It's still loving life in the kind of semi-hydro mix I potted it up in my, at this moment in time, one and only repot video, I believe. It's got lots of new roots going down. It's just really enjoying life. This leaf is looking a bit old. I don't know if it's just dying off. I hope you can see it. I don't know if it's just dying off or if this is potentially some kind of fungal thing. I think like I've been misting this leaf. Well, actually not that much anymore, but I've been misting it. I was misting it to help it emerge as perfectly as it could. And I know that this leaf would have gotten wet as well, and there's not much airflow in my cabinet, even though it's not sealed. And I'm just wondering if it's possibly some kind of like fungal, the leaf being too wet for too long kind of situation. But it's got this leaf, and if I lose that one, I don't care. I mean, I care a little bit, but it did a really good job of keeping the plant alive throughout the import. I'm okay with it going if it does go. I think we're gonna be fine. So anyway, I won't talk about this one anymore, but I love it. So off the back of that warocqueanum, I actually have another one to share with you. So this guy in here, let me get him out. Okay. It's usually covered in springtails. Okay. This chunk was attached to that queen when it got imported. It was like at the bottom, and it was even longer. It was probably originally down to like here. It was huge, and it had no roots on it apart from the start of this one here, and I chopped off the bottom section because it had no viable growth points and no roots on it. But I kept this section because it had, hopefully you can see, there's one growth point there, obviously this growth point, and then there's one here that's activated as well. This hadn't started growing from it, and I just put this chunk into this bag, as you've seen, with some moss, and the root has started to grow a little bit, and this whole growth point activated and shot out. and I just love it. I'm thinking the next leaf might be brewing. I don't know what to do with this chunk, because it's got the three growth points and just this one lonely root. Like, I don't know whether to chop the chunk into three, so like chop this section off, this middle, to chop this kind of middle plant off, and then have the other two growth points on their own. I'm wondering if that would allow any energy that's left in the chunk to actually hit those growth points, as opposed to, like, I imagine this section's taking up quite a lot of the energy and the other two might be struggling. I don't know if there's any science behind that, it's just kind of the way my brain's thinking. Oh, just spotted that my Monstera albo is shooting out a new leaf. But anyway. But yeah, I'm really enjoying growing this one completely from chunk, and at some point I will be taking it out of the bag to acclimate it to kind of normal humidity levels, so obviously it's very humid in that bag. But for now, I'm just letting it be in there. I think I need to seriously think about whether I'm going to chop the chunk up. If you've got any suggestions about what I should do, pop them in the comments. I did ask on Instagram ages ago and people were saying to like leave it, but I still really want to chop it. Let me know what you think. That was plant number 2. Okay, plant number 3, we're going to step away from Anthurium just for a little minute, because plant number 3 is my Philodendron micans. And I mean, I feel like there's a bit of a theme, well, slightly. I really like velvet sparkly leaf plants. Obviously the Anthuriums have sparkly leaves and velvet leaves, and so does the micans, and I don't know what to say about it, I just love it. I think I always particularly love it around this time of year because it's got those really dark green leaves, but then when the new ones come in, they're kind of like a burnt orangey red, and when the sun's shining through it, hopefully you can see how stunning it looks. Like, that is just beautiful. Like, it is a stunning plant. I really, really love it. This one used to be hanging on my wall. It was definitely a lot scrawnier, like less bushy than it is now, and at one point the end section was just like really not looking great, but suddenly the top started bushing out, and it was almost like you know when you chop a plant and it promotes new growth up top, it was almost like that had happened, but at the time I hadn't cut the bottom off. It's like it was just given up on the bottom and it was, you know, doing its own thing. So I did chop the bottom off, and suddenly we've got loads of length again, and at some point I'll probably chop it again, but I don't feel like I want it to be any bushier up top, so I would really like to see if I can get a mature version. If you haven't seen mature Philodendron micans leaves, they go through like different stages, so they get bigger and have like, they lose their darkness, they almost go kind of gloriosum leaf, like that really big heart shaped, but then as they get even more mature they lose the velvetiness, and I don't know if it can be done indoors, but I am curious. I know, oh, what is her handle? Plant Life in the Tropics? I'm pretty sure that's her handle. I know she was maturing a micans. I haven't actually seen an update on that for a while. I might have missed it though, she might have given one. I know she was trying to mature one. It's like climbing up all around her walls, and they were getting really big, but they were still velvety. Yeah, so maybe if I prop it, I might put it on a moss pole or something and see if I can start maturing it. But yeah, Philodendron micans, another favourite for this month. Okay, this is my next plant, and it might look like a standard Monstera deliciosa, but it's actually a Monstera deliciosa Brazilian common form, and I am loving it right now. It's new to this environment. It has been in the shop's grow tent for a while, but I think it's settling in quite nicely. It's definitely dirty, I need to clean these leaves. But I'm just really enjoying it right now. I think there might be a new leaf brewing, possibly. I'm really enjoying seeing the root growth. I don't know where this one's going. Somebody needs to tell it it's going the wrong way. But you can really see like how fuzzy they are when they first start growing. I think that's really cool. And these leaves are thicker than a normal Monstera deliciosa's leaves. I don't really know how to describe it, but they are just thicker. If I can, I will put a photo of a mature Brazilian common form on the screen now so that you can see the difference, because I mean, maybe if you're not somebody that's really into plants, you might not be able to see the difference, but I think most of us will be able to see that there is a difference in the leaf shape. Like the fenestrations are kind of a bit deeper and a bit wider, and it's a bit more of like a gappy Monstera deliciosa, I think. But obviously this was finished sentences. Obviously these aren't very mature. This was a top cutting, but the top had been injured in the import process. So you might be able to see here, this is like the top, and it's looking like a question mark. I don't know if they'll ever do anything, but this was the growth point, the auxiliary bud that activated, so it's had to start again, and that's okay. Like, I'm hoping it will mature up really fast. I do want to give it a moss pole. I just need to order, because I want to make some lazy poles, so I just want to I need to order the things basically. But that's my plan with this one. I would really like to get it to mature leaves as soon as possible. I'm so distracted by my Monstera elbow. Yeah. Do I want to say anything else about this plant? I don't think so. On to the next. This is my Philodendron 69686, or Philodendron code. I love this plant, but it's a very EFN heavy plant for me, at least in the environment. It's currently in the shops grow tent, and in there it is very EFN heavy, which is, if you don't know what EFN is, it's extra floral nectaries, and we don't know too much about them, but there are some theories that the plant will produce them to attract ants and have like a symbiotic relationship with ants, where they'll come along, have the extra floral nectaries, but also if the plant is being attacked by pests, the ants can also clear away the pests. That's like one theory. I can't remember what the other theory is. I think I've read two different ones, but I can't remember what the other one is. And I think that's the one that I connect with the most and kind of believe the most. I might be wrong. If I can find what the other theory is, I'll put it in the description. So yeah, it is very EFN heavy, and because of that there are some, like I put it in the shower this morning, but there are some leaves like this one. I don't know if you can see these dots, I hope you can. And that's basically where there was some EFN on the backs of the leaves, and it's like sat there for too long and it's got burnt, which is really disappointing, because I could have just wiped that off much quicker and it wouldn't have got burnt. I need to, there's lots of like watermarks on this plant. I need to give it like a proper clean, and it definitely needs a new pot. It's begging for a new pot and a pole. This is another one I want to do the lazy moss pole with. Yeah, you can see there's a new leaf come in, and the way that these unfurl are, I find really interesting, because of their kind of big ears. These are like intertwined at first, and they have to like unfurl. That was, what are we doing? That was weird. They have to like unfurl the two lobes first, and then the rest of it can start unfurling. I just love the shape. It's just such an unusual shape, and I know they say it's like a cheap dupe for the Philodendron UPI, which is one that I would also love, but will probably never be able to afford unless plant prices start dropping. But yeah, I just really love this one. Look at the way this like sheaths unfurled. I hope you can see, like, look how curly that is. That's cute, right? Let me see if I can show you the backs of the leaves. So they're quite red at this point here where the petiole meets the leaf, which is quite cool. Yeah, it's just really interesting. I think a moss pole will sit perfectly right here, and it'll be really cool to get some really mature growth. So yeah, this has been another favourite of mine. I know this is quite like a, I don't know if it is controversial, but anytime I've kind of shared it on Instagram, or well, on the shop's Instagram I suppose, people haven't really been that interested. Like, for some reason people don't like it, and I love it. I really do, and I think it's unusual for me to like this shaped plant. Like, a lot of mine are the kind of long or like heart-shaped leaves, and this one's definitely, I mean, I guess it fits in the long category, but I just really like it. I think more people should have it in their collection. That's my thoughts. So this is Philodendron 69686, which once you figure out the number is really fun to say. On to the next. Okay. My next favourite for September has been this guy. This is my Monstera deliciosa Thai constellation, and I freaking love it. I've had this plant, how long have I had this plant for? I can't remember if I got it last year or the year before. Must have been the year before, surely. It was, I think this, no. I'll have to look at some photos to see which, I know it's lost some of the, like, it came with some really like young leaves, and I can't remember which of the bigger leaves down here were with the original plant. Possibly this one might have been, and this one, I'm just looking at the growth pattern here. I think this one was definitely with it. Whether that was the last one, I can't remember, but it has grown, it's grown quite well. These are definitely slower growers. I'm like slipping off the edge of the sofa. These are definitely slower growers compared to like the Albo Monstera. I want to say in the green form, but actually looking at my green form, I feel like that's quite slow. Kind of puts out like 1 or 2 leaves from each stem a year. And the Albo definitely puts out more, but this one, I think I've had 1 leaf from it this year. I thought for a period of time it was working on the next leaf, but it hasn't, it's not really done anything. But the stem back here is beautiful. I will film some clips of it kind of up close so you can really see and appreciate it, because it is just, it's a really nice stem. So I'm excited for whenever the next leaf does come out. But yeah, I can't really show you all of it, I don't think, in this shot, so I'll definitely have some other clips kind of playing so that you can see it up close in all its freaking stunning beauty. Well, I don't really know what else to say about this one. I just love it. I just love it. I think, like, between the Albo and the Thai, even though my Albo is huge, like, it has grown a lot, and I do keep thinking I might need to chop it, and as I can see those new leaves popping out, I might need to chop it. If I had to choose between these two, I would choose the Thai. I much prefer the Thai, and I think I prefer that these leaves can get way bigger. Like, I'll show you a clip of my Monstera Albo. It's, the leaves aren't that big, like, they're, you know, they're big enough, they've got fenestrations, but I don't think, because it's a Borsigiana type as opposed to a deliciosa type, I don't think the leaves can get that big. Like, they're just not able to get as big as the deliciosa, like a true deliciosa form. So, and I like big leaves. I'll see if I can, I'll show kind of like these two side by side so you can see what I mean about the like different leaf shapes. Like, they're just smaller. But yeah, if I had to choose, I'd get rid of the elbow. I'd keep my tie. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Oh, I've just realised that the next plant is actually my last plant. And in my opinion, I think I've saved the best till last, or at least I've saved the one that I've been obsessed with the most throughout September for last. Okay. There's no hiding that leaf, but this is my Anthurium magnificum verde, and both of these leaves look really sad. I'm not really sure what this is. This definitely looks like a fungal spot, doesn't it? This is the oldest leaf, so I might just chop it off. But this leaf is definitely looking sad. But basically, this plant was the one that I filmed that how to unstick stuck leaves. Yeah, how to unstick stuck leaves video on the 4th of September. So this leaf was that leaf that was stuck in that video. So throughout the month it's been emerging, and isn't it stunning? I don't edit the colour in my videos. This is the true colour that you're seeing. I mean, I hope it's picking it up. I might put in some photos as well just to show it in different lights. But isn't it stunning? And basically what I've done is, I mean, it looks like it's had an argument with the other leaves. And because this one's kind of my priority right now, I've just basically turned it around on the shelf. So these are now facing the wall. I'm probably not getting that much light at all, so they're probably quite cross with me. But anything for this leaf, it's just stunning. I just look at, I haven't got words, just look at it. I'm really excited about the kind of potential for this leaf. There's no way that I can show you the sinus shape together, but this one's definitely like a little bit wider, and that makes me think that it could be quite a bit larger, I think. And this, just looking at it from the side, the petiole's slightly thicker, so that makes me think it's preparing to support a slightly larger leaf. I hope. I could just sit and look at it. Look at it in that light. It's just stunning. You can't tell me. If you don't think this is pretty, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's so pretty. I'm literally in love with it. I can't wait to see it at its like, I can't wait to see it once it's hardened off and at its kind of full potential. This is one that had been in the shop's grow tent, and these leaves are just, I mean, this one's basically neon. I think this one has been dying off for a really long time. And then this one, I don't know, it never like, it hardened off to like it's a weird green. It's not, it's almost like it didn't finish hardening off, but it is, it's completely hardened off. So those were both grown in the grow tent, and this is the first one it's growing out of the grow tent in normal conditions, which is quite amazing. And I'm just curious to see what the colour of the hardening off will come to, like whether it'll be this weird, I don't know, it's like a murky green, whether it'll be that colour or whether it'll be a different colour. I don't know. It is an unusual mag verde. Like when I look at photos on Instagram, they don't look necessarily like this. Like the colouring of them, I think. It's just slightly weird. I'll keep you updated. But anyway, if you had reservations about that process of how to unstick a stuck leaf, it's not damaged in any way. I have damaged leaves before, but this one isn't. It looks perfect. Like a little bobblehead. But yeah, this was my final plant. I don't know. I don't know if I will do these every single month. I'm thinking, you know, we're entering autumn and winter, and often the plants that are my favourites are the ones that are like doing really amazing growing, so we'll see. We'll see if we get an October's favourites. Maybe I can do like a, I was gonna say, maybe I could do like a favourite spooky plants in my collection, but I don't know how many spooky plants I have. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep holding this plant because I just love it so much. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy favourites video, or if you liked any of the plants, give this one a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't for more. Check out those other videos that I've mentioned in the description, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!